First, how's everyone doing today?
Great. How you doing?
There you go.
Very good. Coach, Jeremy Banks plays really hard, obviously. He also gets some personal foul penalties. How do you balance that of wanting to rein him in but not too much? What are your conversations with him about that?
The first conversation is we have to do what's best for the team. The personal fouls, we never want them, but if they're costing us, in game situations, we can't allow that. He does play, extremely hard as any player I've been around, but we have to do it within the framework of first, the way Coach Heupel wants things to be done as far as, the team structure, and then defensively. We can't, keep putting ourselves in bad situations with, pre-snap penalties and the post-snap penalties that he's had. We've had, a lot of discussions about that, and that's something that has to be addressed. We make a big point of emphasis on trying to play clean, as a team and as a defense. So that's something that we can't tolerate. And if it obviously if it persists, we're going to have to, obviously put someone else in. But he knows about it. It's been addressed, and we're going to, obviously try to play a lot cleaner, as the season goes on.
Coach, what have you seen from Juwan Mitchell in the first few games, and what do you need to see from him going forward, just given how he produced at Texas?
Juwan has been good. He's battling through, a couple, injuries. And, whenever you have, multiple things going on with your body, it's hard to practice. It's obviously hard to, get into a game situation and feel comfortable, being able to, accomplish what we call on defense. So, it's been a struggle with, for him these last couple of weeks, but he's toughed it out. We've tried to get him in there and rest him with some of the things that he has going on, and he's toughed it out. But it's been a little bit of a struggle because he wants to be healthy. He wants to be able to go out there and help us, as a defense. But it's been a little tough these last couple of weeks.
Vince and Jimmy.
Brian, obviously there are a lot of traits for linebackers for them to be successful, but two of them I want to ask you about specifically. Instincts and eyes. How would you evaluate how your guys do in some of those situations?
That's a unique question. At this point, you would hope that they were, pretty, greased up as far as their eyes being in the right spot, and the instincts part all come from film and game, preparation as far as knowing your opponent, recognizing formations and tendencies. And we've been okay. I'm not going to say we've been great. We feel like we do a great job of prepping them for what they're going to see, what offenses like to do as far as attacking defenses. And for the most part, I think their eyes have been in the right place. But it only takes one time. If their eyes, they lose their focus and lose their eyes on the play, it could be a big play or a touchdown. Nobody sees the 99% that you did right if it doesn't affect the game. So we're always striving for perfection.
Coach, in regard to the linebackers, how would you evaluate how they have done versus the run, and how have they done versus the pass?
Up until last week, the run-wise, I thought we were in the right spots. Last week brought a different type of challenge because of the quarterback being probably the best runner on the field, and we felt like we had a good plan with him. A lot of it was, the tackling technique. We had guys in position to tackle him, and we didn't get him on the ground. And it was a couple times we didn't do a great job of using our pre-snap tendencies and our pre-snap rules to keep contained on the football with the quarterback. So it's one of those things where versus the run, I thought we were building. Obviously, a little bit of a different animal this week, not the same type of running quarterback. And regarding the pass, we've been in a lot of the right spots, and sometimes it appears because it's underneath coverage or the running back is catching the ball that it's the linebackers. We do play a lot of zone defense that might not be apparent to the naked eye, so it's not always the linebackers when it's the running back or a tight end in coverage. But we've had our fair share of not being in the right spot in those instances also.
Right.
Brian, what's gone into the decision to rotate as many running linebackers as you guys have so far, and how do you feel that's worked through the first 4 games?
I feel like it's been good. I feel like if there is not a lot of great separation with the linebackers, our whole goal is to be fresh in the fourth quarter. And, our whole goal in rotating is whoever's playing the best is going to be the guys that finish the game. And if there's not great separation during practice and there's not great separation, during the games, we want the guys to be able to play 100 miles an hour, under control, going back to, Jeremy Banks. We want them to play as hard and as fast as they can, and we feel like we can do that because we have a rotation that allows those guys to play, with the intensity and with the ferocity that we want them to play.
Yeah, Brian, I guess the way that offenses can spread you out now but can still go with some power stuff, it seems to put a lot of stress on those inside linebackers. When you're sort of recruiting someone, what's an ideal inside linebacker look like? I mean, what are some of the traits that a guy who you could keep on the field all the time, what traits would he have?
Just watch a lot of the football from yesterday. On Sunday, we want some of those guys. You know what I mean? You just go down the line from the Bobby Wagners to the Fred Warners. Those are guys that are big and athletic, but it's turned into a space game. Like you said, you have to be able to make plays in space. You have to make one-on-one tackles. It's turned into basketball on grass, and you're going to have to be able to get guys on the ground in space. But in the same light, you have to be able to find guys that can take on blocks of offensive linemen and tight ends and can get off those blocks and make tackles. So it takes a dynamic guy. So you're always looking for guys in that 220 to 230 range that are going to develop to that size, and guys that are athletic enough that they're not going to be a liability in coverage or in space, but can still get, decent athletes on the ground.
Last 2 questions, Vince and Patrick.
You're talking about space. Tell us what you see from Missouri's offense, because it seems like they try to spread you out as well.
Yes, I think Coach Drinkowitz does a great job. He did a great job as a coordinator, and, he does a great job, as a head coach. You can see they're going to spread you from sideline to sideline. They're going to give you a lot of different formations. It's probably simple for them on offense, but it's a challenge for, defenses, because they put, guys in different, positions, and they're going to give you a lot of different formations and motions and shifts. So it's going to be a challenge there. And, their running back, Beatty, is a really, really good player. He's probably one of the top running backs in the league. Obviously, he leads them in rushing and receiving yards. So it's going to be a challenge, there. Obviously, like I said, it's a different animal compared to the quarterbacks. Obviously, Blazewicz is, did I say his name right? Bazelak, excuse me. Bazelak, I want to make sure I correct myself. Bazelak is more of a pocket passer. He can run the ball and get out of the pocket, but the big thing with him, he can beat you with his arm. So we want to have to do a great job of being in our right zones and zone coverage and making sure we're on our man and in man coverage.
Coach, Aaron Beasley, I think he started the last 3 games, played a lot the other night. What is he doing well for you guys right now?
Aaron is, one of our veterans. A veteran in our room is a guy that's kind of just been older. We don't have a lot of guys that played a lot of football at Tennessee. Juwan played a lot of football, but at a different program. So he's a guy we lean on to be able to come out there and kind of give us a veteran presence. He's been consistent as far as being able to play all 3 linebacker spots. And the big thing with Aaron is, you kind of know what you're going to get every day. He doesn't have the highs and lows that some of the other, players have. He's one of our better players, as far as obviously tackling and getting off of blocks. And he's one of the guys that we can really lean on for, teams that give you a lot of different formations and are going to try to change, the offensive strengths of the formations with motions and shifts. He's one of the guys that can really help us get lined up and put us in the right positions to get, be successful on that defensive snap.
Coach?
All right. Thank you, guys.